This segment is sponsored by New Perspective Financial Solutions. There's a lot happening in the federal government space, and people have a lot of questions about how changes are being made and how they might affect their retirement. So here to help us out is Lisa Kim. Lisa is a financial advisor and managing partner at New Perspective Financial Solutions, a DC-based firm that focuses on preparing people for retirement. Welcome back. Great to see you, Lisa.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Of course. So tell us, what is happening right now in the federal government with the RIF?
Okay, so as we know, first of the year we had the deferred resignation. That was people who could opt to leave the government early. Now we're in the RIF action. So this is done by executive order. So we're shrinking the government. Everybody's been watching the news. The government is shrinking. So the RIF action, which stands for Reduction in Force, and of course we know the government loves their acronyms.
Yes.
So right now, March 13th is going to be the first plan that's due. This is going to be the target plan. This is where the agencies, department heads are telling us, okay, these are the places we're going to focus on the RIF.
Okay.
And then in April 14th is when the actual plan is due. That's when they're going to say, okay, these are the positions, these are the people who are going.
Okay.
At that point, shortly thereafter, the employees are going to be notified that they are in fact in the RIF action. And they'll have a 60-day minimum notice. If they are SES, it's a 45-day minimum. The SES is sort of the executives of the government. Now that minimum can be cut in half if OPM approves it. I don't think that that's going to happen, so we're looking at a 60-day minimum starting somewhere in April. So they're slating the first RIF actions to be taking place May, June.
Okay, so that's coming up here. And
yes.
Does someone have to take that RIF door? How many doors are there? What are the options?
Okay, so when you leave the federal government, you have multiple doors you could potentially walk through, right? And it depends on what is your computation date, which is when did you start with the federal government, what are your years of service, what is your age. So when a RIF action initiates on you as an employee, that basically illuminates other doors that you can leave the government through, right? So you may actually qualify for a couple of doors, but you can really only walk through one. Okay. So a RIF action will initiate a DSR door, which is involuntary. So if you are RIFed and you meet the DSR door, you're going through that door, and that's early retirement. You leave with your benefits, you get some of your pension, and you're going through that door. Mm-hmm. But if you meet other doors, you're going to go through those doors. So you really will have some sort of a say which door you walk through, but you really want to figure out which door is most favorable for you in the long run.
Sure. You mentioned the early retirement and the benefits, but how do the other doors affect those benefits?
So depending on which door you go through, like if you get truly RIFed because you don't fit any of the other criteria for the other doors, you're going to lose your benefits, right? Okay. So when you get RIFed, you have 31 days of your benefits that go with you. On the 31st day, that's your last day. The next day, you have no benefits, right? But if you get DSR'd, you get to leave with your benefits. If you go through VERA, you get to leave with your benefits. And if you do regular early or regular immediate retirement, you get to leave with your benefits. But there's other things that are taking place as well as it relates to your benefits. If you do deferred pension, you lose your benefits in that deferral period. So what happens if something happens to you and you pass away, right? You don't have life insurance because your benefits were deferred.
Right.
So maybe you need to come out and you need to get a private policy. That's something we can help you with. What about if you get RIFed, what you paid into the pension system? Do you leave that there? Do you leave with it?
Right.
What is most financially favorable for you?
Got it. So a lot of things to consider.
Yes.
Consider, and really quickly, what should people do to start to prepare themselves for the separation from employment?
So the first thing you need to do is figure out if you get RIFed, what door are you going through? And we can help you figure that out. Really, it's a few items, that relates to your employment, and we can help you figure out what door you go through.
Okay.
Once we know what door you're going through, then we know what your pension plan is going to look like, what your benefits are going to look like, and what your needs are.
Okay.
So now we're going to build your financial plan. Is there a gap in the income when you leave early? Because you didn't plan on leaving this early,
right.
So your pension is smaller.
Right.
So is there a gap? If there's a gap in your income, we can potentially talk with you about how to fill that gap. Okay. Do you go get another job? Do we sort of take off some of your TSP? What do you do with your TSP when you leave? So we're going to help you figure all that out.
Yes, a lot to consider.
Thank
you so much. A wealth of knowledge. For you at home, if you want to make sure you're on the right track for retirement, New Perspective Financial Solutions has an offer for you. Lisa wants to help preserve and continue to grow your money while also helping you create a reliable income stream. So right now, for the next 5 callers and anyone else with a portfolio of $250,000 or more, she's offering a complimentary retirement income plan. This will allow Lisa's team to sit down with you personally or schedule a call to make sure you're on the right track for retirement. The number to dial is 240-335-8366. Again, that's 240-335-8366.